Hello, 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 everybody. It's January 14th, 2019, 11:56 p.m. I almost missed the day. Unbelievable. All right, guys, we are going to continue. This is going to be a shorter video. We're going to continue following the upcoming weather for the U.S. This is very interesting here. I actually tweeted this to Craig Setzer. He's a meteorologist out of Florida. Him and I go back and forth on Twitter sometimes with some of these interesting looking anomalies we get on sites like Tropical Tidbits and that COG website I use a lot. But this is actually a storm that was on Tropical Tidbits that is on the heels of the storm we talked about yesterday. So we could be dealing with a three-peat between now and January 27th. So basically 10, 11, 12. Within now and the next 13 days, we could see three significant snowfalls, especially in the Northeast. This showing wintry mixed weather, including a snowstorm moving all along southeastern Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, panhandle of Florida getting slammed. And then the entire state of Georgia at one point is covered in ice right there. And then South Carolina, North Carolina is where the snow begins. And then it turns into that typical Noreaster shape. We got the low pressure right over the Northeast with that 9 symbol pulling the moisture down from the Gulf. Very interesting to see here. Yes, 10 days out, so lots of room for change here. But this seems to be the ongoing cycle that we are beginning to see after Gia came through, and now we're waiting on Harper, whether or not that's going to be on Friday or if it's going to be a couple days later, because like I said, this went from a 2-storm set to now a possible 3-storm set. So let's explain that a little more in depth. These are the updated charts right now on Tropical Tidbits. Let's go all the way back. Here is Gia, say goodbye, sayonara. And now look, here, this is what the talk of the town is right now. We talked about this last night, so I knew it was going to be all over the news today. But that first wave of moisture is finally hitting areas of California and the Sierra Nevada mountains. Actually, meteorologist Geoff Cornish posted about this specifically. He says, in California, heavy rain is falling on the lower elevations and snow has crippled I-5. So we're already getting heavy snow reports off this first little wave of moisture that is not even going to be the wave that causes the significant snowfall along the I-70 and then up into the Northeast. Closing it through the grapevine, according to at this handle, another wave of very heavy precipitation will come in at midweek, and that is the one we highlighted yesterday, guys. So they are finally on top of this. You could see they have all of California covered in this. The Sierra Nevada is running, like I said, from Redding all the way down almost to the northern area of Los Angeles. That area is the area to watch. As you can see here, look at some of these colors, guys. We're in these browns and yellows up in this area. So we're talking 7 inches, pushing 10 inches in some areas. Right up here you could see Yosemite is down in this area. We went over that yesterday. That was 5 to 7 yesterday. Looks a little higher today. So the amount of snowfall and powder in these mountains is going to be just unbelievable over the next couple days. And then after that moisture makes it into the western states, that is when things are really going to get messy. That's when all 3 of these storms are expected to come and go, putting Northeast at risk. The I-70 corridor is going to be a very common topic of conversation in the coming weeks and even probably for the next 2 months at least. And then we got this nasty thing coming out of Texas. It looks like it forms over in Mexico, possibly moisture being pulled out of the Pacific, and then with the energy that's being pushed down by these El Nino dips in the jet stream are just they're putting the energy there for these storms to blow up. And one of these situations is called bombogenesis. And now that is when the millibar, or the pressure of a low pressure system, drops 24 millibars within a 24-hour period. And this one that we saw on Tropical Tidbits dropped around 33 to 34 millibars within an 18-hour period. So that is considered a bombogenesis, a bomb cyclone. If you guys remember from last year, a lot of those March nor'easters, we called them bomb cyclones. That's where the name comes from. It's how fast that pressure drops. The lower the pressure, the more powerful the storm is. And you see that happen right around Texas. And as it crosses Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then right around here, boom, this thing blows up, drops in millibars as it rides up the Northeast. But again, That is the third of 3 possible snowstorms we are now talking about. This is Mike's weather page. I want to shout this out really quick. This guy is incredible. He provides us with so many different tools that are online and puts them all together for us here so we can use this as a public website and domain so we can figure out our own weather and learn about it. And I've done a lot of learning from this site. So thank you, Mike, for putting this out for all of us to use. Mike's weather page on Facebook if you want to check him out. Wonderful, wonderful site. Also, shout out to Tropical Tidbits. I use you guys all the time. Very much appreciated that you guys put the work in to have that site out for us. I brought up this lightning chart because I just wanted to show you the action going on a little bit in the Pacific and then more on Mexico, because this will come into play as lightning usually shows the signs of strong storms, and that is an upflow we're talking about that has something to do with this little thing going on in Texas that's going to be interesting, to say the least. I posted this here for a reason. This wasn't a joke or anything like that. This is a legit bombogenesis being shown on Tropical Tidbits. And keep in mind, this is 3 days after a possible nor'easter that we talked about last night. And if you look at the last couple frames of this, guys, this is a straight-up nor'easter shape, just like the other one is, if not more defined. Now, the other video we posted, which is right here, in fact, let's just open it up and get to one of those screenshots real quick. If we can find it. If I can't find it quick, we'll just move on here. But yeah, we were showing the windy.com charts, and then we got to this. And this is what I was talking about. Let's get this out of the way. And right around here was yesterday's forecast. So you could see the snow line was cutting off right at southwest PA, basically. A lot of people from Long Island asking me about the snow situation there. Guys, honestly, as of right now, it's so hard to tell because in one frame, the eastern half of Long Island is covered in snow, and then there's a straight line through the dead center of it, and the western side is covered in rain. So I got to let a little more time pass before I can give you an accurate reading on Long Island specifically, but that will include South New Jersey and parts of Chesapeake Bay. But this is not going to be an easy storm to deal with, especially when we have another one that's going to be on its heels, which looks like this. Now, there's been a little bit of tweaking going on since I've posted that Twitter post, but here it is in short, guys. So once again, sorry about that. Let's back up. Here is Gia right here. Now, let's watch the dates and watch the times here. So it's Monday as of right now. Here's Tuesday's forecast into Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, we may get a dusting up in the northeast. That is very possible. Doesn't look like anything crazy, but this could be pretty significant. Now, we kind of passed over this yesterday. This is Friday. We got a little bit of a system here that's getting cut off right at the north end of the Western Virginia line, and then it's more of a northeast storm for parts of Pennsylvania and New York. And then as we move forward, it kind of passes quickly through Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, up through Maine, Nova Scotia, and then out into the path it usually takes to Ireland and the UK. Those poor people out there. But then right after this, guys, right after this is what we talked about last night, was this monster right here. This is a lot of moisture, a lot of energy with this storm. You can see these severe areas. You all want to keep an eye out whether they're near your area or not. We know these charts change a lot, but the common thing here is that this thing is going to show its face almost as it's exiting the East Coast. So the low pressure up here, 999, that's fairly low. That's a pretty strong storm. That's going to bring a lot of snow back into the Northeast. So this is hit number 2, believe it or not. Again, this would be considered hit number 1 for the Northeast on Friday the 18th, which is 3 days away. And then just a short 3 days after that, we have to start thinking about this. And then also this line here, guys, this could be tornadoes, heavy hail, very severe storms. You can see the millibars there are at 1,004. And then by the time we get to our nor'easter looking area, we're at 999. So not so much of a bombogenesis there. What I mean by bombogenesis is this. What I posted on Twitter is going into Thursday, the following week of January 24th, we have a big buildup of energy in the Gulf. And then what happens is that moisture rides up like it normally does. That's a common thing. Moisture builds up in the Gulf here and then rides up the Northeast. but it's being mixed with a dip in the jet stream again. And now this is where the bombogenesis may take effect. You could see here how it goes from 1003 to about 985 within a day. Now that's changed a little bit, so excuse me, we're going to have to keep an eye on this as well. So there it is, guys. We have 3 storms that we need to worry about and keep an eye on over the next few days at least, because we'll have a lot more data come in. But they are stressing the Sierra Mountain area very much with these situations. And also you can see it here on this chart that moisture is certainly moving in. It's going to be in place, and the cold air is going to be in place ready for this moisture to hit it. That's going to be the issue, and that's what's going to determine what areas get snow and what areas don't. So it's a little hard to give you accumulation guesses at this point. Let's just put it this way. Most of the Northeast and South into states that don't usually see a lot of snow, be prepared to see some, because this is just the beginning of a cycle that we're probably going to be seeing through February. And like we said, March was a very busy month last year, so we can't leave March out. We still have 3 full months of winter left, and it looks like it's just getting started based on these storms that are just, it's almost like mimic storm. Like they are the same exact thing coming in from the west, smashing into either whether it's California or if it's Oregon and Washington getting hit. It doesn't matter. That moisture is getting pushed into the U.S., and then the different flows we have, and I call this ground zero because this is where those storms meet. And then that's when we get to see which way they decide to go or which way they are pushed or pulled. So that's the best explanation I can give you at this point. We do have winter storm warnings in Iowa and these common areas around the lakes. As always, that is coming down from Canada. That's a cold air blast. So any moisture in that area is going to turn to snow. That is why you're seeing that there. These are warnings, or watches rather, not warnings. The pinks are the warnings. You got pinks going on in California already. Expect to see this over the next 5 to 6 days, guys, because those mountains are going to get smashed with this weather. All right, let's see if I covered everything. I believe I did. Just one more thing right here. This is expected snowfall between now and the 16th. Looks minimal, but then when you go to the following one, which takes us through the 19th, it's a bit of a different story. So in a 3-day span, you could be seeing another foot of snow in the I-70 area, including Iowa and parts of Missouri too. So Missouri, you are a target zone as of right now for most of these storms, as they just want to stay flat across the Central Plains, and then they want to come up to the Northeast. But with Gia came straight across and straight out, didn't do much as far as the Northeast except for D.C. and a little bit of areas off the coast. But we're going to start seeing our Northeast storms now, that's for sure, and that is just the way things are playing out. So, all right, guys, with that said, that is the update. One more thing I wanted to point out, and I know this was on the thumbnail. Sorry it took me so long to get to this, but we had 4 different states in the United States alone get earthquakes today. So check this out. We had one in Oklahoma, 3.6, very shallow, 5 kilometers. Many people felt it. I believe it's in the hundreds, if I'm not yeah, it's 113 on this site in particular. That was a very shallow quake. We had one in Texas. This was a 2.65 kilometers deep, also very, very shallow. And then another one in Tennessee, 13 kilometers deep. Now, this one is a little concerning only because it's on that fault line we talk about sometimes. And 13 kilometers deep, that could lead to a bit of a stronger quake in this area in the near future. Obviously, the Ring of Fire is still blowing up. We have this ping-pong thing going on between Kakatoavik, Alaska, and Anchorage, where it's just one earthquake after another, bouncing back and forth, and then we saw a wave come down towards this way. Japan got smashed today. We had Iran, Greece, and Italy got hit hard today. In fact, Italy was a 4.5, 10 kilometers deep. We all know there's very unstable stone structures in Italy and areas of Greece, so they do tend to get a lot of damage with these shallow quakes. Just a lot going on, guys, and I know I said this would be a short video, so much for that. Just too much to talk about. There's too much going on in the world. We just had a very big quake in Nicaragua, 5.3, 36.2 kilometers in depth. That could lead to some more action in this area. But to see these quakes in the U.S. as often as we've been seeing them, it's just concerning. It just, it makes one wonder what's happening, what is going on underneath the U.S. plate right now that is causing us to see these mid and even eastern quakes now. Remember, we had that one in technically Canada right next to Maine the other day. So, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of research to be done, and in time we will get to all this stuff. But with that said, guys, I'm going to let you go. That's the update for now, and I will see you all on the flip side. Oh my God, I hope this does not happen. Whoo-wee! All right, guys, take care. Have a great night. We'll talk tomorrow. Thank you so much for the support and the continued watching of our videos. We appreciate it so much. You have no idea. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.